All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 45 of the 2 Minute Warning. Today on the table, we're looking at the Miami Dolphins and if we're going to see them in the playoffs this season. Jay?
Long-term bet, if I had to put money on the game, on the prediction, I would say no, they're not making playoffs.
I agree. There's a chance they sneak in with a wild card somewhere, like number 6 or 7, but I don't see it happening this year.
Miami fan right here in gray.
Yeah, I've been dealing with a lot of Miami letdowns in the past. I definitely think they have a shot at the playoffs. Well, I don't think it's likely. I think if it were to happen, the defense would have to carry them. I mean, their defense is pretty much what's carrying them right now. The offense is, all right. It was, we'll see what happens with Tua. He didn't really have like a fantastic game the past week against the Rams, but he got them the win, so I can't really knock him for that. But I mean, their defense is special for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that it's not likely, but certainly in a realm of possibilities, like Wade said, for them to be a 6-7 seed wild card out of the AFC. I don't think they're gonna take their division over Buffalo, so I think that's out of the picture. But we did, like Greg said, see Miami's defense step up against the Rams, a solid team in the Rams.
Oh, yeah.
Forced 3 turnovers out of Jared Goff, which isn't unheard of from Goff. But good job for Miami's defense doing that. But again, seeing Tua throw for less than 100 yards and only 1 touchdown isn't a type of output that they're gonna win 5 more games this season, whenever they need to get the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we're gonna need to see more production out of Tua because I don't think their defense will be able to step up and do that every week.
I think that with that, I think they're just sort of trying to ease him in. Hopefully next week we'll see him attempt more passes. But yeah, it was his first game. I think they were just sort of trying to ease him in. But yeah, he didn't look amazing with only 93 yards.
Yeah, it'll be interesting when he plays Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow to see how he does against the other rookies because they're both doing pretty well, even though their records might not show it. They're playing great football, and well, hopefully Tua does the same.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, one thing you have to think about is like Tua is not just competing against these other teams. He's competing against like these other rookie quarterbacks to show that he's got like what it takes to succeed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure on him. Number 5 pick overall, and I definitely think he's got all the tools. I mean that pass he threw to DeVante Parker for his 1 score of the game was a pretty impressive throw. I mean, albeit short, but I mean I definitely think next week he'll be able to like get a little bit into more of a groove, and I'm sure as people go along, his teammates will start to trust him more. I know they already do, but he's gonna be able to get more confidence, going forward.
Yeah, and this Miami team, we've seen them hold their own against good teams this season.
Yeah.
1-score loss to Seattle, who we have going to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. A 3-point loss to Buffalo, who we have winning their division. So we've definitely seen them play good teams this year, not necessarily beat good teams, but hold their own. We saw them smoke the Jets. We saw them
Torch the Niners,
who for 1 week when they had their quarterback back were a decent team.
Yeah.
So again, they've held their own against good teams, but I don't know if I see them in the playoffs just because it's hard to say this early with Tua.
And really, just us kind of having this talk is kind of credit to the Dolphins. I don't think anyone even thought it would be within question that they make the playoffs. At least for me, I didn't even think they'd be close this year.
Yeah, not for me
Right.
either.
But coming out of the AFC, there's almost 5 lock-in playoffs teams between the Steelers, Chiefs, Titans, Bills, and Ravens. And then on the last 2 wildcard spots, it's going to fluctuate between the Colts, Browns, Raiders, and Dolphins. And just out of those 4, they right now have the worst record, so it's just going to be hard to climb back. I mean, the Browns, I could see them dropping off, losing Odell. And then Colts, Phillip Rivers could throw 3 picks, and the Raiders wouldn't even know what they are yet. So it is possible, but if I had to say, that's just too many teams to come behind from and come back and win a playoff spot.
They do have a few tough games coming up, so we'll see how they do. If they can manage to beat the Bills, I think that the Bills, what was one of the other teams difficult teams they had coming up? What was the Raiders. If they can manage to beat the Bills and Raiders, I'd really put them in a good spot. But I don't know how realistic that is. But you never know how they're going to be playing week to week.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the schedule here. I mean, Cardinals Cardinals are a great team. It's a toss-up. I mean, Dolphins have a definitive chance of beating the Cardinals, but it definitely won't be easy. Same goes for the Chargers. Same goes for
they got the Browns.
Teams like the Bills.
The Browns.
That's the Broncos.
They don't play the Browns.
Yeah, the Broncos. I think the Dolphins can definitely beat the Broncos. Jets, obviously. Bengals, yes.
Just ain't winning.
They should pick up their second game against New England. I think they'll beat New England. New England is looking
Yeah, it'll
really
be a
bad.
close game though, because obviously the
that rivalry
Patriots
is just
know
massive.
that they can beat the Dolphins. They've done it already this season.
Right.
But you look at these games right here. I think the Dolphins' defense really needs to lock in if they want to have a chance to beat these better teams.
Right.
Because right now that's their best weapon, and their offense needs to start clicking pretty soon. If
I
they want to
think
keep up.
the toughest games they got left on their schedule is the Cardinals, Chiefs, Patriots, Raiders, Bills. 5 games. Even if they if they win 2 out of those 5, they're then at 3 more losses and finish at a 10-6 season, assuming they beat the Chargers, Broncos, Jets, Bengals, which they probably should. 10-6, that's pretty solid. I mean, if they could get to that and still make the playoffs, they did everything they really needed to do coming out of that division, out of the AFC. That's credit to them, no matter what 10-6 turns out to be for them.
Yep. All right, Miami Dolphins playoffs.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.